This podcast is brought to you by still nobody, but it's only week 2, so it's okay. We can keep looking for people. You keep looking for us. And not only subscribe, but send us money. That would be awesome.
Give us free stuff.
That would be awesome, too. Then maybe I would actually use my Instagram if I had free shit to promote.
Yeah,
I gotta get better with that.
Yep, we know.
This week, we have a guest on the podcast. And no, it's not the no-show from last week. I'm never going to tell you who the no-show was. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. Kevin will. So maybe we'll find that out
in
the
near
near
future.
It was a no-show?
Yeah, it was a no-show.
Tim knows who it is. Yeah.
yeah. No black on black hate on my part. Not today, at least.
Well, that sort of gave it away.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of black guys.
That's true.
What?
But since Kevin's already eliminated from the list of who it might have been, that kind of dials it down a bit. Anywho, this week we have Tim Lowe, who is a very funny comedian in the Jersey area, who has a special coming up at the end of the month, directed by Kevin, of all people.
Yes.
And it's at Crossroads on the 29th.
25th.
25th. I'm going to shut up now.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it was a leap year, it would have been on the 29th.
Yeah. Wait, it is a leap year.
This year it is?
Mm-hmm.
It is?
That's the day after my birthday. Yeah, boy!
I got away with that one. Sweet.
Still the 25th, though.
It's the 25th at Crossroads. Crossroads is at?
Garwood.
What time is it?
8 o'clock. Doors open at 7.
And tickets are?
Online.
10.
How much are they? They're online.
12 online.
12 online.
15 at the door.
So you should buy them online. And the name of your special is?
Free advice.
Free advice, because Tim is not only a comedian, he's also a therapist.
Indeed.
So 2 of Hot Takes and Sausage with Tim Lowe.
Woo!
So first thing that you noticed when you came into the apartment was Kevin's shoes.
Yes, they are. Well, I like to look at people in the eyes, and especially with your height, I don't spend a whole lot of time looking at your shoe on the side of the highway. I'm always saying, like, you never look at the shoe, though. It could be a size 19 shoe on the side of the road.
But you just glance at it.
Yeah.
It could be,
and I got a full view of a size 19 shoe up in my face.
I've brought many DACA dreamers over in those shoes for sure. Like they roll your boat.
And the thing about having a size 19 shoe is that, as far as Kevin's concerned, Ross is the only shoe store that exists.
Oh yeah, unless I order on eBay, I walk into Ross or Marshalls, and they're like $6, and I mean I'm pretty cheap. Well, I am, so I'm like, yes, I'm gonna size 19 shoe. I'm gonna pay these $6 because no one else is freakish enough to wear them. So I make a good. I do well for myself at that point.
I like it.
I gotta imagine pants are hard to get too, because you gotta go in the store like, hey, can I get a 34 waist and a 62 inseam? They're like, what?
Oh God, listen, I had to learn when I learned how to shop for pants myself, because my mom just had like an eye for it. Oh yeah, this. Then I was like, so I'm just gonna wear shorts everywhere. And thankfully, I lived in Florida, so it didn't really matter. But once you start, moving up in the world, and people need you to, wear slacks and jeans and shit, and I didn't feel like lotioning my legs all the goddamn time, I guess I had to start wearing pants, and here I am.
Yeah,
wearing jeans.
I have a newfound appreciation for being 5'7" or 5'8", whatever I am, because I wear like the same things every day, and if I didn't have that convenience of just this T-shirt and a 34 waist, 32 inseam, I would probably be wearing more of the same stuff, because I would probably cling to those giant clothes that I would need to wear. But yeah, I like being able to just get whatever I want from the store.
Yeah, the world's built for you guys. There are little things. Like I always say that my height stole my childhood, because I can't necessarily go to like a theme park or anything like that, because I can't fit in a roller coaster. I can't put the bar down or anything like that. So it's that pretty much sucks for the most part.
I'm trying to ask this the straightest way that I can.
Oh my God.
How big is your inseam?
Wow, I don't know if there's a way you could have made that.
That's our producer, Charlie Beagle. He has anger issues, as you can hear on that. So
Nice.
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. I'm doing a lot better than Charlie right now.
So you got your special coming up, free advice, because you are a actual therapist by trade. Something I've always wanted to ask you, and I never asked it at a show.
Have at it.
How many comics have asked you if you could be their therapist?
You
don't have to say who.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Unless you want to.
No, name names. Name names.
I don't think anyone has maybe I think one person asked about the facility that I work at, about going to that place, and I said, well, obviously it wouldn't be me because there's a friendship here that would get in the way. But I think the most common thing is people looking for referrals. Hey, I'm struggling. This is where I live. Do you know anyone in this area? I think there's probably been like about a half a dozen to 10 of those. No one has directly said, "Help me out. You have to be the one."
Can I name the comics that need the therapy?
Go right ahead.
I know a couple from the old 10th Street, Mike, rest in peace, 10th Street. I know one or two from there that could use it.
Yeah, there's a. You might be listening.
And one of those has been hanging out in Bayonne nowadays at DeGiorgio's.
That is your hood.
Oh yeah. He.
Oh, there you go. About.
Yeah, you see how quickly everyone put that together.
He's an interesting fellow.
That's very nice of you to say interesting.
That's about all I can say.
I on the other hand I will say that interesting is putting it pretty fucking mildly. Dangerous maybe, but whatever, what do I know?
He's always been nice to me.
Of course he is. Of course he's nice to you, and he's been nice to me, but every day he walked into 10th Street and I was like, I need to know where all the exits are. Just in case he came in here with an itchy finger.
I might have established that friendly relationship for my safety in case he ever did come into 10th Street with a gun.
We did have a whole conversation before they walked out. I'm like, hey man, he likes you. And he's like, great, he likes you. So let's just chill out. Don't, if you go out there for
twice if you're in danger.
He just has a lot going on.
Yeah, but usually has weight on him, so that's cool. Maybe that's why I was nice to him. Who knows? It could be for both. You gotta think. And there's one other at 10th Street who would have been possible to bring a gun in there, and I was always nice to him too. And nobody was ever nice to him.
Oh yeah.
Easy. That's an easy dead giveaway.
Yeah. He's hitchhiking across the country right now.
Hint, hint, it could be a potential school shooting. That gives that on who that would be. He's the only one who could pull that off.
Only one pull up when no one sees him coming,
I think 10th was the only place because I haven't seen him anywhere else.
That's the only place I know for a fact.
It's the only place that he's ever performed.
I would have assumed he would have been going over to Comedy Cove because that's the same area. I don't know how far he can go.
Yeah, nope. It was always 10th Street. So when 10th Street died, he died kind of, sort of. Which, damn, that kind of makes it sad.
That does suck for him because, he's not very good, but he's only 16.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be fine.
I sucked when I was 21. I didn't even try that shit until then. I can't imagine how I would have been on stage doing stand-up at 16. I think that's why I was always nice to him, was because I can't even imagine how I would have been on stage. Like, I acted like a 16-year-old when I was 21. Which, going off that math, I probably acted like a 10-year-old back then.
And you definitely give him credit for doing what he was doing for that reason.
Absolutely.
Definitely has a lot of, so many people have a lot of growing up to do. Some people more than others. It's just a matter of, I think you have to live enough to get to that realization of, time for me to grow up. I don't need to keep on acting like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't figure that out till 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, that's 100% accurate. That's what that is. Yeah. I'm glad you figured it, but at least you figured it out.
Yeah, so every now and then I regress, and I'll just look at Kevin and be like, I'm working on it.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. Open hand slap you sometimes. But whatever, at least it's getting there. That's what counts.
I'm surprised that nobody's ever straight up asked you to be their therapist, though, with how fucked up comics are mostly.
So are you trying to It just seems.
No, I'm good. I don't
No, you're not.
I just figured out how to grow up 2 weeks ago, but I'm good. I'm good.
No.
I mean, I'm a millennial. Growing up at 30 is pretty fast for my generation.
Oh God, use the M word.
When did you turn 30?
The 18th of January.
Oh, so I'm turning 30 in April.
So I'm the oldest guy here.
What are you, 30?
34. I'll be 35 at the end of this month.
Oh.
I'm old. Black don't crack though. I'm gonna look this way till I'm 60, or until the police get me.
And then you're gonna look like Bill Russell at 61.
Yep, damn right. Goddamn.
Yeah, you have a Bill Russell. Oh my God.
Yes.
You are a young Bill Russell.
Yes, but I'm not gonna do the goatee. I'm just gonna let this beard go. Let this beard.
You're gonna salt and pepper it like he does.
Just let it go. Fuck it.
There you go.
I got nothing to lose at that point. I made it past 25. I can do whatever the fuck I want now.
My favorite thing I ever heard about Bill Russell was in the documentary that Bill Simmons did with him for NBA TV. You know exactly where I'm going with this. So there was 2 teams that could have picked him in the draft. That was back when you still had the Spirit of St. Louis and the Boston Celtics.
I love this story.
And Bill Russell wanted to go to Boston because St. Louis was so racist.
Which really hurts me because I'm a huge Cardinals fan, and that the city once was is not what it is now. So it's back then it was pretty bad.
Obviously worse than what it is.
Oh yeah. I mean the demographic has changed quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think I would even. I mean, aside from a couple summers ago when the Michael Brown and all the different black people getting killed by cops erupted. I don't think I've ever seen or thought of St. Louis as being like a stereotypical bad city like Detroit or Camden is.
I never thought of it either, and maybe it was a lot worse back then because you hear about Boston. I mean, Boston still gets in trouble for racist stuff every now and again, like what they did with Adam Jones to the Orioles last year. That was just last year, and Bill Russell was like, "No, I want to go to Boston because they're not as racist as St. Louis." Like, I think that would be one of my time machine destinations. Not like, for any other reason. I just need to see that. You know what I mean? There's those things where it's like, okay, hold on. It's like this. No, I got to see that shit. Because if St. Louis was able to clean their shit up, maybe Boston will someday. I actually just read an article about Jaylen Brown, talking about him being an athlete, activist. He was at Cal Berkeley, studying under a lot of the professors that are guiding Colin Kaepernick right now, and he's about to be doing activist stuff in the NBA. I can't imagine when he got drafted by Boston, he was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, I love Boston. I love visiting Boston, like being around Boston, but it's like there's way more pockets than you would anticipate still.
You said Kaepernick were working with professors?
Well, there are professors at Cal Berkeley that have been helping out Kaepernick with like his foundation stuff and activism stuff that he's been doing. A lot of stuff's coming out of Berkeley, and those are the same professors that Jaylen Brown was studying under, and they were saying that they were saying this going into the draft. He's in his 2nd year in the league now, and they were saying like he's going to be a big time activist in the league. So Kevin just walked out. He's taking the dog,
aka the producer.
Our producer, Charlie. He's a beagle. So you're special on the 25th.
Yes.
At Crossroads.
In Garwood, New Jersey.
$12 online, $15 at the door.
Yeah. What
is the website online? We can't just say online.
xxroads.com.
That started out very gross at first.
Yeah. Well, the XX is the
that third one will get you.
Yeah. Think of it as a innocent crossroads or crucifix.
20roads.com. The Roman.
Yeah. Roman numeral. Roman numeral 20.
xxroads.com.
And then when you go to the website, in the upper right hand corner of the website, they'll have a little ticket fly symbol. You click on that ticket fly symbol, and it brings you to the direct link where you can pay for it.
I thought you were going to say we could click on something and have a promo code. You got my hopes up.
I don't have any promo codes.
But it's a $12 comedy show. You don't really need a promo code for something like that.
And even if you pay the full 15, I think there's enough people on this show that we are definitely, the audience is definitely going to get their money's worth. Pat Goldsmith is hosting. Kate Nichols, Ariel the 80, Gordon Baker Bone.
If he shows up. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm sure he'll be there.
Hopefully.
And then Ray Gibbs is going to be doing a.
Already has a track record.
Yeah. that I've heard of. I haven't witnessed it firsthand myself. This is all word of mouth.
I hope he doesn't listen to this episode because he's supposed to be on next week, and he's gonna be like, "Fuck you, I'm not coming."
And then Ray Gibbs is going to be doing a half hour before me, and he was on Kevin Hart's Heart of the City.
Oh wow!
The Patterson, I believe it was Patterson episode.
One of my good friends was on an episode of Heart of the City. JB Ball. He was on. I'm not sure where they were in Florida because he was a Tampa comic. He's moving to LA now. But they also had Pam Bruno on there and Francisco Duran, and they're both Miami comics. So they might have been in Miami. They just had JB come down there because he had won Florida's Funniest around that time. He won Florida's Funniest the year before Preacher Lawson from America's Got Talent won Florida's Funniest.
Mm-hmm.
So for everybody talking shit about Florida, we're better than you think.
Well, where did you live? I don't know anything about Florida other than the stereotype that it's a shithole. Well, where are the good areas? What's good Florida? What's bad Florida?
Well, Florida's kind of structured like America. If you're on the coast, you're good. It's great. All up and down around the coast. The cities are cool. It's fun. You can do a lot of shit, and especially with comedy. The middle of Florida is weird and country and swampy, like America.
So that's where all the shit happens.
That's where all the Florida Man articles happen. That's where all the meth labs are. Yeah, that's how Florida goes. Except for Orlando. Orlando's the only one that's sitting there in the direct middle of the state, and they're an actual functioning city.
Oh, I would like to chime in.
Please do.
Kevin's back.
Let me explain to you what Florida.
Kevin went to college in Florida, Dunk City.
Yeah, Dunk City, FGC in Fort Myers. Love the place. But the rest of the state is shit. It's God's waiting room / if you work in hospitality, it's the place for you. Otherwise, you're doing meth.
Miami's good. Tampa's good. Jacksonville's good. Like I said, if you're on the coast, you're good. If you're in the middle, it can get weird. That's a microcosm of America.
Get weird is very nice. What is it with you guys being so nice? Get weird is like, okay, someone might fart in a movie theater. Florida weird is someone's going to be doing meth out in their front lawn in front of their house. That's Florida weird. That's what that is.
As someone who was born in Tampa and grew up in Fort Myers, both coastal cities,
Those are good. Those are fine.
I've never seen meth in my life, except for like on Breaking Bad. Like I've never seen it in person. I've seen weed, obviously, in person and by possession. Mm-hmm. I have seen cocaine before, even though I've never done it. And that's about as much as I've seen regarding drugs.
So I just got to be the real black guy and say all the drugs I see now. God damn it.
I don't know. What have you seen? Have you seen heroin in these streets?
Okay.
Yeah, you grew up in Jersey.
Yeah, don't ask me those questions.
You were born in Newark.
Yeah, don't ask me those questions. The only thing I don't do drugs.
Yeah, Kevin doesn't even do weed. Kevin's the Black Jeff Sessions.
I don't do drugs. I've done ayahuasca. That was
After that, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's what I
want to do that. Go on, Kevin.
I had a good ride with it. I've seen people with bad rides, but once I did that, I said I don't need to do any other drugs anymore. Alcohol is my vice of my drug of choice at this point.
I want to do DMT and go to Disney World and ride It's a Small World.
Why would you do that? It's barely manageable as a person without anything in this system.
Awesome. All the little animatronic puppets.
Your brain's gonna melt with strong psychedelics. My impression has always been it's an introspective drug, so you don't need any of that external stimulation because it's just gonna overload everything.
So you're saying if I'm on DMT, this room can be It's a Small World. I don't have to get on the ride.
You can close your eyes and have the Disneyland inside your eyelids.
Yep. because I know when we did ayahuasca, and it was a blast, but it was like the most surreal. It's like watching reality ripple.
Yeah.
It's like how a flag waves in the breeze. Imagine everything in this room waving like a flag. Like it's like it's like I just get chills thinking about where I was at that moment. I'm like, I can't figure this out, but I figured it out, and it was maybe the most rewarding experience of my life. To be very honest with you, to open that part of my brain.
I would like to do that because, like, there's any of those I would like to do. Like, my rule with drugs has always been if it can't kill me, I'll try it. So, I mean, that ruled out Coke long ago because my dad told me the story of Len Bias when I was like 4 years old. Thanks, Dad. Actually, no, thanks, Dad. That did help in that matter.
Len Bias was drafted by
Boston Celtics. Number 2 pick. He was, skill set wise, LeBron before LeBron. He was a 6'9" small forward at Maryland. He could dish it. He could shoot it. He could do whatever. Mm-hmm. He was very well versed at that size, which they hadn't seen that in the early 90s yet. And the Celtics, via some trades, because this was when they were still great. They had Bird, McHale, and Parrish. They had from a trade a pick that ended up being the number 2 pick, and they drafted Len Bias. And he celebrated draft night by doing a little bit of blow and dead.
No way.
Died on draft night. And I've always felt, I actually have a bit about this, is like, you know how when you read the stories in the paper about the girl who took one bump of blow or she took one pill of ecstasy and she was dead? My bit, I talk about, like, I'm that girl. I know that about myself. Yeah. So that's why my rule's always been, if it has no chance of killing me, I'll try it. Which I guess technically I break that rule with alcohol, but so does everybody else. But mushrooms I would do. I would like to feel the high from mushrooms, but I don't want to taste poop. So that's problematic.
It isn't really, it tastes bad, but if you dry it, it just tastes like more like dirt. It has a very earthy taste.
Yeah, there you go. Like I did it when we were in Vegas. I did it with a shout out to Chris Shrewsbury, and we did it. And we walked around Vegas, and because we were out there spread out in the super desert, and it was. To this day, we can't decide if there were clouds in the sky that night, but we kept saying the clouds were certain shapes. And then the next morning, we looked at the weather report from the night before. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. We thought we watched Finding Nemo and then took a walk. Mm-hmm. Finding Nemo might have been.
Sounds like a perfect night.
It was like I laughed, and every time I would laugh, the place would fill with the color of the screen, the water. Mm. It was so cool. So I won't lie to you. I did this thinking I was going to have bad trips at some point, but the 2 times that I've done something that is trippy like that, I've had awesome fucking adventures doing so.
Well, now I'm going to have a bad trip because they're showing this Stephon Diggs play on TV.
He's a Saints fan, so
So your heart has been broken for a couple of weeks now.
His heart's been broken so long.
It got broke more after the Super Bowl, though, because I've been saying when the Final Four became Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Blake Bortles, Case Keenum. Mm-hmm. If anybody but Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, then this play is now unforgivable. Marcus Williams truly cost us the Super Bowl. I might have to bring that back a little bit, though, because I've been kind of disrespectful to Nick Foles these last few weeks. Mm-hmm. I'll admit that now. If Blake Bortles had won that goddamn Super Bowl, then yes, I'd be saying this. We got to trade Marcus Williams. Fuck that guy. He cost us a ring. And I'd probably still feel that way about Case Keenum, too. But they went to Philly. Philly blew the doors off them.
Hell yeah.
Nick Foles balled out in the Super Bowl. I apologize, Nick Foles. You're a good quarterback. And you are a real starting quarterback. I take back what I said about you.
I just want to ask Tim. Tim, what sports do you follow just in case he gets on that rant type of thing again?
I'm a casual fan of mostly baseball and football.
Okay, we're good.
Good, so we can have Tim on during baseball season.
This is awesome. Baseball.
I played baseball in up until my junior year of college.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and my freshman year, I walked on to the team. They knew who I was because they've been scouting other people. And I show up. They're like, we have a full team. We were ranked 15th in the nation last year. We have, I was a catcher, and they were we have a starter, a backup, and someone who was on the team last year. So there's 3 people. Mm-hmm. You're more than welcome to try out. But obviously no guarantees. I had a really good opening weekend, and they said, okay, keep coming back for the rest of the fall tryouts. I had a really good remaining of the fall tryouts, and then the third catcher just up and left. He wasn't there, and they said you're more than welcome to come on.
Oh wow!
So I walked onto the team, and then that year we actually won the national championship.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Wow, that's fucking awesome.
That got rings.
Yeah, that was a wild ride.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
It's pretty cool.
I probably know more about I played professional basketball for 11 years of my life. I know more about baseball than the sport I played. 100%.
How does that work?
Well, it's kind of like baseball. I always say, and it's kind of true, baseball's handed down to you. So my grandpa was a big baseball guy. He handed it down to me. And I love baseball. But I was very good at basketball.
Mm.
But if you told me, hey, Kevin, during the season, we're going to watch a basketball game, I'd be like, all right. You put me in front of the TV to watch any game, honestly. It's like, but mostly the Cardinals, but any game, I will sit right here. I love it. I played baseball on travel team until I got out of high school, which many people didn't even realize. And then I got into college. I just watch it religiously. I worked stats for a couple of minor league teams in between. So I have this the genuine love for baseball more than the sport that I played professionally. Which is always fun to explain to someone. You could ask me the starting five of the Los Angeles Lakers right now. I'd probably have to look it up. I could guess a couple of things, and I can break down a game. You can ask me the home run projection of the New York Yankees right now with John Carlos Stanton, and I can give you every one just by what I've read and looked up in my own eyes.
It's hyper involved.
Yes, hyper involved. I'm rabid. I'm a rabid Cardinals fan, but I'm a rabid baseball fan. I love pitching. I was a pitcher at one point, so I do miss pitching.
I like the chess match that baseball brings to the table, and I think that's the thing that people don't understand. The ones that say baseball is too slow, it's too boring. There's actually a lot of stuff going on, and you really keep on what's going on.
You have to be thinking all the time.
When it's a 1-0 game or a 1-1 game, and you're in the 7th inning, that's every single pitch matters because we're getting into pitch count, we're getting into your bullpen, we're getting into the guys on base. It's not just people standing around waiting for the ball to come. Every single pitch means something. It's a true chess match. Especially when you're Tony La Russa.
Yes, because Tony, man, I love Tony La Russa. Maybe we're going to start doing it. I'm excited baseball season's coming. Let's stick with me making fun of the Jersey comedy scene. Let's do that. Let's do that. Before I get too excited and start going into things, you guys are like, what the fuck is wrong with this giant black guy? Why is he getting so excited?
Pitchers and catchers are reported already, right?
Nope, week and a half. Week and a half. Yes! Oh, I'm so excited.
They dropped the trailer for the show yesterday.
Oh, yeah. The only video. I used to play video games a lot. Now I've really narrowed it down to only 3 games: Madden, the show, and nope, just Madden in the show. So they, play it. This game keeps getting more realistic every year.
I noticed one part of the trailer they showed like the fans in the stands, and they had in the game the fans in the Aaron Judge section at Yankee Stadium wearing the fucking
Judge stuff.
Yeah, what's that curly shit that people put on their head? There's I know it's a wig, but there's an actual name for it.
I don't know that name.
Okay, so people know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The curly hair wig that makes it look like you're living in 1776 that judges wear, that all the Yankees fans wear. They had actually put that in the game, which is really detailed because usually when they make the fans in video games, it's just stick figures with a Yankee shirt on.
This blob of just color.
Right. So it's getting real in depth.
Yeah. Got cheekbones now, guys. I can see his cheekbones.
But so we were talking when you were taking Charlie for a walk. We were talking about the special for Tim, Free Advice, that you're directing.
Yes.
So how did you two get together regarding that?
Well, that actually is because of Gordon Baker Bone. Gordon Baker Bone was talking to me about his special that we did the audio for. And he kind of brought up, I think Tim, you were like standing right there as I was talking to him.
Yeah, this is a stress.
Yeah, and then you came up to me and I think you were like, yeah, I wanted to shoot my own special. At that point, I'd probably only seen you like 2 or 3 times.
Correct.
And I've said this to him 100 times. I know people think they have to wait their turn for people to tell them they could do a special, but anyone with balls enough to come up to me and go, "Hey, I want to record a special."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this shit." It wasn't even a thought because in the end, I've always wanted to do that. I've done other things, but I've never recorded a special, and I've worked on people with people who've done it. So when you brought it up, I was like, all right, let's do this. I was actually more concerned about if he had the material. He's like, no, I got the material. He's like, more. And at that point, after we recorded Gordon's, we kept talking, kept in contact, and I was like, okay, this man he's fucking serious. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it.
When was Gordon's audio recording?
I believe that was in
early
November.
Yeah, early
November. Yeah.
I think it was sometime in like late September or October. I had no idea that he was doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at 10th, and I just happened to say, because a lot of times where comics would talk to him, like, hey, Gordon, and they have a little banter. Mm-hmm. I brought up, hey, I have this crazy idea. I think I want to do a special, and I wanted to do it at Stress, because I mean at 10th, because that was like the home mic at the time. And he's like, yeah, this place to probably do it. Talk to me afterwards. In fact, I have a producer in mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right, cool, awesome. And then I heard that he was doing it, and it sort of felt like, oh man, now it sounds like I'm copying off of him because his stuff is coming out around the same time that I'm doing my research. But everyone's been really cool about it. And then I think, I talked to him that Monday at Stress.
Yep.
2 days later, we're at 10th.
10th, and 2 days later, we're at Stress.
And he's like, "Oh, this is the guy." I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, this is great." I'm immediately comfortable because I knew more of you at that point, but since it was coming from him, it's like, yeah, how can I go wrong with this?
Yeah, because I mean, like, I've known Gordon. A lot of people know I've known Gordon a long time. We used to get kicked out of class from each other in high school, and me and he and I've talked about this before. And a lot of people, there are people who probably have the thought process of doing it, but never really brought it up. Mm-hmm. So when we met and talked, and we're gonna do, because Gordon's gonna do his later on.
Cool.
And I'm pretty excited for the whole thing. I think it's gonna be. I mean, that lineup. I heard you guys talk about the lineup when I was walking back in, with like Ariel and Kate and Ray and Pat and Gordon. And it's going to be a great lineup. I actually have a plan. I think I haven't told you this, but so the plan is we're going to film it. I'm going to film the whole thing, and then I'm going to take the 4 with Ariel, Kate, Gordon, and Ray. I'm going to make that a separate thing. It's like you're filming 2 specials in one. So make that a separate thing wrapped around them, and then keep that 1 hour for Tim, and make that its own thing. And I think it's a great idea because it gets to showcase probably one of the best group of comedians in one room. The only person missing from that group for me is like Alex Nicholas. Like,
that's the only person missing from it, huh?
Yeah. That's the only person looking directly at you. No, okay. It's like
I see how it is.
So it's like for me, if outside of those people, and I would be able. That's like you can't get much better than that group of people. There are a couple that are out there that are good, but I think
one or two.
Hey, listen, we've been talking about filming your special since Vegas when we were trying to do it at the Gold Mine Tavern, and you weren't half as good as you are now. So you beat. What? Am I wrong? You're better than what you were in Vegas.
Oh yeah, no, I'm twice as good as I was back then.
Okay, then. So
did you say anything else besides that? That's the only part I heard.
Well, in his defense, when you mentioned to me about the name of this podcast, how long did it take you to go from having to the inspiration of the name to putting it together?
Couple years.
Couple years. Look, all jokes aside,
not trying to make any enemies here.
All jokes aside, I mean, because
like I'm the only comic that procrastinates.
Well, I mean, that's literally the hallmark of all comedians. Kind of like if you get them to finish, they finish. It's great. If they don't, then you're lucky they started. So that's a good. That's why it's important you're doing this, because I think you do it, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to follow.
And I hope people follow suit, because the more that we collaborate together, sharing things, feeding off of each other, this is like I don't think there's anyone else aside from Gordon doing the audio, but I don't think to this. I don't know what you would call it to this extent. I don't think anyone else has tried something like this. So I have
not collectively as a scene.
Correct.
Not from what I've seen. And I've been in the Vegas scene. I've been in the Florida scene because Florida City's kind of combined together as one scene. I've been in this scene. I've been in, if you want to call New Orleans a scene. New Orleans is struggling a little bit with the comedy, but that's the problem when you don't have a club. Because when the headlining comics come through, they're doing all the theaters. They're either the Sanger, they're at the Orpheum, or they're wherever. There's not an Improv or a Helium or a Funny Bone in the city of New Orleans. There used to be a Funny Bone in Baton Rouge, but it's not there anymore. So what happened, or what's happening in New Orleans, is the result of not having a club and everything's in an alt room. It is a strictly alt comic scene, which you know me, you know my material. I don't fare well in that environment. They did not like me one bit, which is funny because wherever you're at doing stand-up in today's climate, you have to worry about, is this going to offend the audience or not? In New Orleans, you got to worry about, is this going to offend the other comics?
They're that sensitive.
I had a girl I didn't have her do it. She did it on her own. I was at a mic at Carrollton Station, and I went up, I did my set, and I did the bit about the Japanese weed dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl went up after me, who was an Asian girl, and spent her entire set trashing me. And I was sitting back laughing, and people were like, why are you laughing at this? I'm like, she just wasted her set tonight to talk about her being offended by my joke. That's not really that offensive to begin with.
I think I remember when you first told me that, because he's got a point. Like you have a group. There are ways you have to work your way around things and watch what you say. Now, given as is well documented, I personally don't give a fuck. That's just me. I'm gonna say what I want. It's gonna piss, but it's gonna piss people off.
Yeah, you say retard all the time.
Yeah, I say retard all the time. But the thing is, there is a difference. I get away with it mostly because A,
you're 7 feet and nobody can reach you.
I'm a giant, but B, my mouthpiece is very good. And the thing is, I'm a big guy on context. I'm not gonna get mad.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get mad at people. Like, I'm not one of those guys that you can say something racist or racially charged to me. As long as you don't touch me, I'm good. I'm good. My mouth is better than any pair of fists I could possibly. I'll make someone walk into traffic.
4 out of 5 ex-girlfriends agree that Kevin has a good mouthpiece.
Yes. Hey. Boom, boom.
Hi-yo.
But it's just like it's a little harder. I mean, watching it, being inside of the comic world instead of being the writer on the outside of it. Because for years I was writing for comics and I was just doling out the jokes. But now kind of being in it, but still kind of watching the Jersey scene, there are moments where you sit there and you gotta be careful and watch what you say and how you say it. And I don't think it should be that way. I don't think anyone's up there trying to be malicious. I don't think anyone's up there trying to hurt anyone's feelings per se. Maybe one or two, but for the most part, I don't think anyone's going there trying to be that ignorant person for the sake of not knowing any better.
And those one or two comics that do, and we're not talking about one or two specific, we're saying in general one or two. Those one or two comics that are up there just saying shit for shock value, they always wash out.
Yeah.
Like, comedy kind of takes care of itself.
Oh, yeah,
in that
absolutely.
sense.
It's the people who have such a, they get up there and they don't have material. They have maybe like a couple things that they want to work out, and it's the same thing over and over again. They do a lot of ad-libbing or improv, and okay, well, what do I want to talk about? And that doesn't last. You need to have some substance.
Absolutely, you got to have something for people to grab onto. I think that's.
And if it's just like thoughts of I thought this sounded funny, let me say that. Oh, and it's gonna ruffle some feathers and it's gonna irritate some people.
Yeah, see,
I'm doing comedy.
Exactly. I think if your sense of humor is not to be that comedy, and you're aiming to be that comedy, then you're not going to be as funny as you think, if at all. It's like, I know a lot of tall guys who play basketball right now because they're tall. Do they want to play basketball? No, they don't want to play basketball.
That's a good point.
But if you put them on the court and they'll be tall, but honestly, they're never going to get any better. And the game takes care of itself. No matter how tall you are, someone's gonna give you a shot, but after a while, it's like, okay, he clearly doesn't want to play anymore. So from a comedic standpoint, you watch guys who come up there and try to say things just get that. It doesn't work all the time. Like I say things that just make go but it's not me trying to be that person. That's the person that I am. So there are people who go up there with that intent. You can't do that if you naturally have that type of humor and you naturally have that approach to things.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fine. But if you're just forcing it just to get the attention,
reconsider that.
Yeah, exactly. It's no different than being an Instagram model. We know why you're taking pictures. You're there to get the views and the likes. But every so often, unless you keep that pace up, no one's going to give a fuck after a year or two. I think a lot of comedians, not just in this community, but many, approach the game a little from two sideways from my life. Just from a person who's gotten to watch comedians come at it angled wrong. It happens a lot, but like Trey said, the game takes care of itself. It'll wash you out one way or the other.
Yeah, those people always end up washing out because they end up not having any material. I mean, that's one level under the comics that you see that have the same five years later.
Oh my god!
Like at least they have a 5. I mean, we're talking about people that don't even have a 5. They just go over there and they say some reckless shit because they think they're gonna get a laugh for it. I mean, I remember I started stand up when I was 21. So I was saying reckless shit just to say reckless shit off stage because I was 21.
Yeah.
But, I took my bumps. I learned from that. And good God, I would not want to see any sets from that first year or two of comedy because it's not an accurate representation of the man you see here today.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be bad. You're not supposed to be having a good time. In the beginning of anything that you do,
right?
Comedy aside, if you're trying something, and you're not enjoying because of all the times that you're failing and you're letting that get to you, you're totally missing the point. Now, obviously, failing and being miserable and not knowing what the hell you to talk about on stage is not a pleasant environment to be in, but that's how you get better at it. By doing something awful enough. I forget, I was listening to a podcast and a person said, you don't get better at comedy, you just suck less at it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's a pretty accurate thing. It's not so much getting better as much, I wasn't as bad as I was last year or yesterday.
I think you'll notice it, when you hear comics after they get off stage, the ones that every single week they get off stage and yeah, crushed it, especially when they go on Facebook and they talk about how they crushed it. It's never the good comics that are doing it. The really good comics are always the ones that get off stage. They're like, all right, how bad did that one suck? And we're like, dude, you were awesome. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's, the whole, everything in general is about growth, about getting better or sucking less. My primary thing is writing. And one of my favorite Hemingway quotes is, the first draft of anything you do sucks. And that's 100% true. But I'm also obsessive in that sense of, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep writing. And, going up on stage, I watched my first time up on stage from last year. And though I am comfortable being a complete jackass on stage no matter what, I know the difference between that guy and the guy that did something at Stress or did a show in Philly a couple weeks ago. It's all about growth. I will always say I suck, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say I did all right. And then I'll look at it, I was like, I can't watch it.
And I told you when you first did that set, I said, you're going to hate this set in a few months.
Yep, and I look back and I honestly, if it weren't for, just for memory's sake, I would have deleted it. Like, I can't watch it anymore, or I can't watch, when I make a film or a project, I can watch it by myself, I can watch it in the editing room, but once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. Like, I cover my eyes and it just, even everyone says, oh, it's great, I'm like, it's like I work so hard to get better at it every day that when I watch it, I see the mistakes I made. I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Yeah.
So I think having that mentality, if natural, if that's what you are, if you want to always get better, is something that every comedian should have.
When you have those new eyes looking at something that you previously had, like, I'm going to create this thing with these eyes that I have, and I really appreciate this. But then I'm going to grow, and I'm going to have these new eyes. And when I look back, like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
It's not so much what were you thinking, as well, that's what you that's
That's
where
where
you
you
were
were at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's something that people don't understand. Like, either meeting yourself where you're at, or like, just communicating with people at large. We're always coming from our own perspective, and we forget that other people have their perspective, and
Yep.
we think that, oh, just because I'm saying it, that you must know what I mean. You must know where I'm coming from. And that's never
That's
never
not
the case.
Ever.
Meeting someone where they're at. Oh, okay, you may be looking at this, looking at other people's definitions of things. Uh, you may see this as, disgusting, but I think that that's really cool. When we look at it from someone else's perspective, it makes it so much easier to, I don't know, communicate. I don't know what I'm saying.
I get
Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, it made complete sense. So, when did you know that this was the time to do a special? Were you thinking about it like before the Gordon was filming his, and you're like, "This is the time to do it," or was that the spark that was like, "Should I do this?" And he slept on it, and you're like, "No, I'm gonna do it."
In all honesty, it was before I heard Gordon wanted to record his own, and it was literally like a week or two before he started promoting his thing. Because right, he started promoting in October because he only had a month to do it. And it was I think it was the first week in November, and I thought of it for myself at the end of September. I could probably find the open mic from 10 where I'm talking to him on stage, but I thought about it because I was talking to some guy at another open micer. He's like, yeah, a place like this, you can just put. He was talking about the Giorgios in Bayonne. This would be a cool place to do one of those, makeshift, 50 people, kind of intimate shows. I was like, all right, and I just marinated for a little while, and I thought, well, what's preventing me from doing something like that? And then once Gordon said that he had KL, I'm like, all right, so it's doable. There's someone in the production that could help me out with this, and it just materialized after that. So it was September of last year, and there's been a couple months of research. I found the place. I talked to.
You found a good venue too. I've
Yeah.
seen the
Oh,
inside.
man.
It's a very nice setup. It's gonna be good. It's gonna look good.
I'm actually kind of glad that 10th closed, only because I would have done it there. And Crossroads is such a better venue for something like that. Just it's the open space and the lights and
The stage.
We're gonna have to remember what Lee said about Crossroads. Anything Crossroads can't be in the filming.
Yeah,
so that's one thing that we have to be mindful of.
But it's I don't remember. Remember the first time I went in there? I don't remember why I was in there, but I think we went. The first time I went there, we thought it was an open mic, and it ended up being not open mic. It was like a music mic.
Yeah, they have a lot of music stuff there.
And then I came in by myself. I'm like, where the hell did that stage come?
Yeah.
It's a really good setup, and I think they're going to try. This is actually a really big test for them, because I think they're going to try to start doing it again. They used to do it in the past, so I'm excited for it. It really is. I really am, because it's a really good venue.
Are you doing 45 minutes or an hour?
I'm gonna see if I can do the 60 minutes.
Can do the full 60. And I have another question regarding the therapy job. How much time would you have in your vault if the client therapist disclosure agreement did not exist?
Oh my God.
Oh, good question.
Let's see if we can do the math here. I've been doing this job officially with my license since November of 16, and I average, so that's about like a year and a couple months, and I average I would say 25 hours a week working directly with a client. 25 hours a week, a year and 4 months. I have like 6 or 7 hours a day doing therapy with someone, and just the shit. I don't know. It is an astronomical amount of time that I would do, but it's not so much. It's the tragic stories that eventually become funny. That would be the material. People, tell me.
I like to fuck.
Every once in a while, there's something absurd like that. Most of what I find entertaining are the people that have no insight, so little self-awareness, and I have to curtail my response when I was like, "Oh, you have no idea, do you? You have no idea what's happening in the world, what's going on in the world around you." That to me is entertaining.
It's like keeping up with a TV show in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he has no idea this is about to happen to him.
Here it comes.
He's about to get.
I knew this was going to happen this week based on where you were last week and where we were talking. But I would say most of the things would be tragic things that you would need time in order to be funny. Although I was at Mulligan's in Hoboken last week, still doing the joke-free January, and I had read an article earlier in the day about an 8-month-old baby in New Delhi, India, getting raped horrifically, and I thought, no, that's got to be funny because the tragedy is so intense, it just bypasses that tragedy plus time equals comedy. It's so tragic. It goes straight to the humor.
Yeah, like people react. I know people who react like that. Something. It's like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do other than just laugh.
So there's quite a few of those experiences that I've had in my office where it's just I don't know what to say. Obviously, I don't laugh at someone, but it's more.
How close have you got? Where you have to actually tighten your mouth muscles.
There was this one person who was just bawling, and just face was just leaking with just mucus and spit and tears.
Cry face.
Oh man! And the more that a tissue was wiped on her nose to get the stuff away, more just came out, and it was just she couldn't talk. It was just one swipe after the other, and it was just glop after glop.
Whoa.
And
it was like chopping off like the snakes on Medusa's head.
Yeah.
More mucus.
You nasty motherfuckers.
And what was that was funny in of itself, but she never addressed it. She didn't even say, "Oh God, I need more tissues." It was just the same tissue, just over and over again, just going back and forth, wiping her nose. And I'm like, how? I can't keep it together. I forget what I was doing, but I was like squeezing my hands or something. I'm just like, all right, just she's in pain. She's in pain. Don't laugh because this is the worst thing if you laugh at someone like right now.
How long did it take from day one of working till when you were like, okay, now I have officially heard everything? I guess how many more times have you said that since that one?
Oh yeah. I'd say it started in November of 2016. I would say probably it was in the summer that I heard the most fucked up thing, and I don't think anything has topped that yet. But there's been a whole bunch of mine like, oh, here's it. Oh no. 2 weeks ago, I heard a fucked up thing that definitely competes with that first thing I heard. So I would say every like 7 months, I hear something new. Oh, here we go again.
Well, that's a.
You can't use any of it on stage.
Is that weird that I find that almost like rewarding? The fact that you can be topped every day, like there's something like, oh, I've seen it all. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
This is like I feel like that's kind of cool. I mean, not their problems, but then again, but still, like, I can't. Every time you think it can't get crazier,
yeah,
it gets crazier. That's kind of cool.
And I consider myself really, really fortunate because I rarely, like some of my classmates when I was coming up in grad school would be so concerned. We would have this internship class where we would meet and talk about the work that we're doing as interns at our agencies or whatever. And people would come in and they'd be so concerned with, oh, I hope so-and-so is okay. I met them, they weren't doing well this week. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like you're not there right now. Like if another example of how comedy weans out the people, mental health is very similar. That if you don't have enough self-care, or if you're putting too much of yourself on the line and worrying about someone's well-being when you're not on the clock, you're going to burn out incredibly fast. When I'm not with my clients, very rarely do I take work home with me. Like obviously when I have like the big days where I just topped myself again. But I would say like 80% of the time, I leave and I leave all of that stuff with me. I'm real fortunate that I can just turn it off like that because some people just it just consumes them. It's just so exhausting, and
it's like,
I don't know how they do that. They look at me like, oh, how do you turn it off?
I don't know why anyone would want to do that. Like, it's just like, I mean, I get it. I get you love your girl, but why would you bring that type of craziness?
Go home to the wife and have the weirdest pillow talk ever.
It was like, so this guy has pica and he does it because he doesn't love his mother. Like, how do you have that discussion? Like, he eats cigarettes butts. Hey, you want to have sex? Like, it just seems like why bring that with you?
Mm-hmm.
You know. But wait, I actually have a question. Now, you've been doing comedy for how long?
4 years.
Now, of those 4 years, you've probably seen a lot of these clubs that are here. Clubs, bars, open mics. They've all venues. There, a lot of them have come and gone. I'm assuming over the same. Has it been consistent? Because remember, like I just moved back up here. Mm-hmm. I know some people have been around for a long time, and some haven't. Some weren't initially venues for open mics, and some were. So just like I know because I've noticed over the last 2 or 3 weeks now, they're like when I started, there was like only a handful of mics. Now we got everything. Just from this area alone, there are 6 other new open mics.
When you say this area, you mean the shore?
Yeah, just like you got Allie Mae Brand's got one at Dark City Brewery, and then you got a couple of other. You got Anchor's Bend, and then I think Jack Steiger's got one. And
there's the one at the Eatontown Public Library.
Yeah, then you got the
Jack Steiger's mic's been having gang violence at it.
Listen, well, Jack's got Jack. Wait, we can't talk about Jack. You get sensitive. You think you're making fun of him. But he did have gang violence at one of his in the library.
I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying I heard from him that there was gang violence at his mic.
And then you got like hags and all that other stuff.
It's just like all of that stuff has come up. Hags has been going on for a little while, but when I was down here, I moved. I think not this summer. The summer before that. The only thing that was down here was the one thing in Asbury, the Dog Pound.
Okay.
And Dublin House in Red Bank, but that was only I think once a month. But aside from that, Heather Lowry wasn't doing hers. Allie Mae wasn't doing hers. Hags isn't an open. It's more of a show. So not Eatontown, not any of these.
There's one in Keyport, and that's at Espresso Joe's. Which
Keyport was like in between. Mark Henley was running it for a little while, and now
Tom Nimick
and Sue.
I can't remember her last name.
I just saw her at Trending Coffee last night.
But yeah, and then now Kate Nichols has hers in Maplewood. Like there's like 9 here. Then you go up north, and there's like a bunch there. And
there's one in Little Ferry on like Wednesday.
One in Garfield on Tuesday. So it feels like everyone's trying to have a room, and that's good.
Yeah.
And it gives you an opportunity to do a lot of open mics. At the same time, though, it's like it's all these things on the same day. You spread it out too thin, which is good. But like, what is my question is, what is your favorite open mic to go to out of the ones you've started to go to now? Like, I mean, obviously not counting Stress Factory. That's a comedy club. Yeah. That's what it's there for. But what is the mic that you go, you know what, I'm going to go there and work on some shit because I like being around that. Like, 10th Street was that for me.
Yeah.
10th Street was that for me.
10th was that's why I wanted to do the
shout out to Kevin Bryant.
I originally wanted to do the show.
Shout out to Baba.
Yeah.
our interracial bartender.
Yes.
There was so much fun at 10th in that way. I don't think anything has recreated that.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. The energy from like those core people though. When they meet at Tiz's for fresh produce,
yeah.
Or no, I don't think any of them really go to the Cove. When they go to Kate Nichols' place, when there's that core group of people, it doesn't matter where I'm at. If those people are there, I'm having my favorite set of the week, because those people is what really makes the mic fun.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of. I think some of the stuff that happens out, and it's so funny because we're sitting here talking about one group. There's so many comedians, and we're talking about one specific group of comedians that happens to be very large, that have spread over the course of North Jersey. But then there are other comedians within that group of comedians that we haven't even met yet. And then there's a bunch of comedians that just show, like, last week at 10th, oh my God. They were like, I recognize, the usual.
Last week where? He said 10th.
Not 10th, at Stress.
We keep on doing that.
God, I miss it that much. At Stress, the usual people were there, Brian St. John, Tyler, Eric Nettle, all those guys. And then you've got, they were like 19 different. There were like I want to say it was 15 people that were doing it for the first time.
Oh yeah, it's a whole bunch of new people.
And that's good. I think that's great. I mean, but it also shows you how hard it is. I mean, and I've had this discussion with Trey many times. Being a comedian is very, very hard. Being an actor and anything else is hard, but there's avenues in which if you are good at certain things or do certain things within that film community, you can move forward. Being a comedian and just a comedian with like not creating your own stuff is tough. You gotta grind away for months, days, months, years, decades.
So essentially a road comic.
Yeah, exactly. Those are hard. That's a hard life. And are you gonna ever get to that Kevin Hart status or whatever? Who knows? But it takes so much more for you to do it. And I always respect people who can get up on stage and really give it their all, knowing that road is fucking long, winding with potholes and fucking detour signs all over the place. So I always respect people who's like, been open micers for X amount of years and they get a couple shows in between, but they keep grinding, and that's kind of the important thing. It's a grind. That's what it is.
We have to, because getting good's only the first half of it. And once you get good, the second half of it is making sure everybody around you knows that you're good, and then you'll be getting booked. Because if you're not out there consistently at the mics every night, every week doing it, if you do have the material, who's going to know? So that's a trap that I know a lot of comics fall into, that I've fallen into before. But I'm better with that now. I've been better with that for a few years, but in the beginning, yeah, it's like, cool, we're doing it, and then, no, not doing it this week. Oh, we're doing it. And you see that a lot, and that's also a way that comedy washes people out, because eventually it goes from hot and cold to just cold. And on the flip side, to just hot. And those are the people that end up on the road. Those are the people that end up doing specials.
Yep.
So, we've been on for an hour. We haven't talked about any sports yet. So, I guess we're going to do that now.
Yeah.
Philly, we're going there on Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
For the parade.
For the parade?
Yeah.
Good for you
Schools
guys.
are closed.
Yeah.
Don't eat any horse shit.
No, don't punch any horses. Don't punch any horses.
Did someone punch a horse?
Yeah, man.
Well, I knew people were eating horse shit. I saw the video of
that.
that.
No, you punched the horse, bro.
There was one person who ate horse shit. I don't think
there's one person on video that ate horse shit.
That is true.
But God punched the horse. Didn't realize that when you punch an animal that is a police animal,
that is a police officer.
That is a police officer. You've assaulted a police officer. That guy's going to jail.
That guy did not see Half Baked.
No, he didn't. I love buttered stuff.
Cup.
So, but yeah, Super Bowl, huh? Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we fucked that up. We did our preview for the Super Bowl, and we weren't kind of picking who was going to win. We were just kind of debating how much the Pats were going to win by.
No, I think yeah. We never picked. I just said 30. I think I said 30-17 or something like that.
Yeah, you picked the Pats. That score. You said Gronk would win MVP. I picked the Pats 28-20. Said Brandon Cooks would get Super Bowl MVP. Whoops, he got knocked out in the first quarter.
Yeah, with an actual a head injury, not like just a concussion, like something serious.
It was his own fucking fault. He caught the ball and then he started running backwards.
Yep, you never turn your back like that.
Why are you running backwards? But all right, gotta give Eagles credit. They won. Clearly, no one bet on them to do that. That's. I had to debate what would be. Blues fan did not want them to get 6, because that means they have 6, we have 6, and now we have to talk as if they're in the same breath. Or we're dealing with the Philadelphia Eagles fans. About midway through the game, I said, "Fuck it, go Eagles." I didn't want it, but as long as I didn't have to deal with, they're the 2 worst fan bases on the planet Earth.
True.
Boston and Philly.
Really, just awful fan bases. And I know good people who are those fans, but they are awful fans.
I'm actually one of those good people who's an Eagle fan.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I know a handful. I lived in Philly. I lived in Center City for 4 years, And I love it there. And I know some great people, but I also was there when the Philadelphia Phillies won the championship. And when the Flyers won, and I watched Broad Street burn to the ground.
Did you see they tore down the awning at the Ritz-Carlton?
Yeah.
Too many people standing on it.
People were standing on claps.
The guy did a couple backflips and did a trust fall off the top of that and no ground because he hit the ground. And he just poof.
Was that the one that landed on his head?
Yeah, he was out.
Yeah.
If he knows how to spell his own name after that, I will be thoroughly impressed. He hit the ground. He bounced as a person to bounce off of. Yeah, that's.
He's probably so drunk that it didn't.
It probably because he was loose.
Feel it, yeah.
Because it's only 10 feet off the ground, so that's not that bad. 10, 15 feet off the ground. Anything above 50 is deadly. So if anything, he just hurt himself really badly.
Yeah, 10 feet off the ground is like jumping off of your shoulders.
Yeah, it's like boom. Yeah, you got a good point.
What can we expect at this parade on Thursday?
Ooh, wow. Oh man, all right. Ooh.
That's a great question.
If it's anything like the Phillies, it will be. But the Phillies, they were happy, but this is not. Philadelphia is an Eagle town. It's all Eagles. Only way I can see it being worse is if the Flyers and the Eagles were playing the championship at the same time and they won it. That would be the end of the world.
I think it'll probably be like a St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yes.
A lot of green.
Yep.
A lot of Irish people.
A lot of booze.
A lot of booze.
A lot of booze because Bud Light is giving free beer.
Oh, yeah, because they made that bet. They made a bet saying that if the Eagles win, they would give away free beer. So...
Well, like a little shot glass, thing of a free beer, or like
it might be like one beer a person, something like that, maybe. But if it's not, oh man,
yeah, that's basically it.
When did they make that bet? Before the season started?
I think they did that before the season started. I think it's one of those things.
Yeah, it was on August 2nd. It was a bet with Lane Johnson, and it said, "Let's make a bet, win it all, and the party is on us." Deal? Question mark. Wow, so I'm going to try to see here. Free beer will now be given to all those who are of age to drink and when the city has parade on Thursday. It doesn't say how many beers. It doesn't say the size of the beer. Wait, Bud Light released a statement. Will buy fans one Bud Light each for the win.
Wait, hold on. So a couple things. They're going to let human beings carry these things? They're fucked.
That's not good in Philadelphia.
That's fucked. Yeah, that's fucked. They're fucked. There's no way you're going to give a case of beer, or a backpack full of beer, a trolley full of beer, and tell this guy, stand in front of this bar. It's like basically covering him with like deer's blood and putting him into a grizzly's cabin. Like, there's no way.
Well, it says taverns, plural, along the route. So that makes me think that you can maybe go to each place and get a beer.
Yeah.
Unless they have like some sort of like
booth,
either a booth or some sort of electronic sign up where you have to get something scanned.
It would have to be one of those because I can't imagine them just putting a person in with a bunch of beer and just standing there. I don't care if she's hot. She's gonna. I watched Eagles fans toss Santa Claus off the top of the goddamn event. They are vicious. I love them. I love you guys. Yeah. But they beat up Santa Claus.
And when they're not beating him up, they're throwing batteries at him.
In snowballs sometimes.
They cheered when Michael Irvin broke his back.
Yeah.
That happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, even like stamping your hand the old school way, people can just wipe that off real quick, go to the next tavern, and get a free beer.
Either way, it's going to be a shit show. I think we can all agree on that.
I'm here for it.
I know you are.
What is your inspiration to go down for this shit show?
Well, we're an hour away. Fuck it.
And I have friends down there I haven't seen in a while, so it's perfect. And like, shout out one more time to Dave Lee. That's 2 weeks in a row. He's down there. One of my favorite Koreans. I'm going to go down there and hang out with him. That's going to be that's going to be bad.
You saw your man Rob Parker today saying that Tom Brady is now behind Joe Montana after he was ahead of Joe Montana for legacy, even though Brady threw for 500 fucking yards.
Rob Parker clearly had 2 doses of ayahuasca. That's all that is. Sometimes
watch what you say. He might call you a cornball brother like he did RG3.
Hey, I am a cornball brother. I'm all about that.
All right, fuck it.
I embrace what I am.
What is a cornball brother?
Yes. I'm so happy you asked. Okay, here's what it is. So, I I am into specific things that are stereotypically opposite of a black guy.
White women.
Well, yeah, technically. Well, nowadays, sure, why not? That's in that white women. I read comic books. I was in a ska band at one point.
Wow.
I listened to a lot of rock. I listened to only old school hip hop for the most part. What else? The way I talk, the way I enunciate words, the fact that I use the word enunciate, those things. So because I handle myself a certain way.
You're so articulate.
Yes, you speak so well. But other black folks don't particularly, at least then in my generation, even though technically I'm a millennial, but whatever, they don't necessarily, they call you corny because you handle yourself in a specific way. So being called a cornball brother is basically being called a white guy or amongst black people.
And Rob Parker is on Fox now because years ago he got fired at ESPN because he said that about Robert Griffin III on TV.
Yeah. So basically, when you do what is dubbed white, you're called a cornball brother. Or, in really extreme cases, something that I happily embrace, you get called an Uncle Tom. And that, my friend, is so much fun for me.
I believe the reasoning was because it came out that RG3 was like a registered Republican.
Yep.
It's like, well, yeah, but he's also from Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's rich. So that kind of works.
And he's in a military family.
Which... yeah.
So
who
was surprised that a military brat from Texas was a registered Republican?
So because of that, he calls him a cornball brother. And there's a lot of us. There's a lot more of us. Think of Carlton Banks, but not as much of a Tom Jones fan.
Gotcha.
So that's what a cornball brother is.
Cornball.
Cornball. It's like corny, cornball. And then, if you ever have a black friend you hear him get called an Uncle Tom.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, that's for some that's pretty bad. I actually going to name my special that live from Uncle Tom's Cabin. That's what I'm just gonna go with it at that point. I'm just gonna own it at that point. I love it.
That sounds like a Richard Pryor title.
You're like the fucking man. Damn. Like, thank you, because that's because I think only Richard Pryor would appreciate.
Special? Did he have the N-word in it?
No, oh my god,
nigger's crazy.
Yeah.
What was the nigger saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like I talked Gordon out of. What was he gonna name? He was gonna name his nigger from Newark. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna have to shop this. This is gonna be hard. These older white men get real uncomfortable. I love making them uncomfortable.
And then it gets to where like people can't say the title.
Yeah. From North, like, listen, if it's in the title, god damn it, just say the fucking title.
Right. It's basically it's like, is it just trying to be a trap for white people? Like, how are they gonna call on the radio station to request niggas in Paris? Be like, I want to hear that song by Jay-Z and Kanye. When they go to France, that one. I want to hear that song.
I would be the disc jockey. What's it called?
Say it.
I want to hear you say it.
I'm not gonna play it until you say it.
I guess you don't want to hear the song, do you? All right then. All right, we'll go to commercial. We'll be right back and wait for this guy to pass out from spazzing from not saying the word.
Yeah, and I've had this conversation with you before. I think there's context to that. Like when people got mad at the Victoria's Secret models because they were in their dressing room backstage and that Cardi B song, Kodak Yellow, was playing. And they were singing along the song, and they got to that part of the song, and everybody pitched a fit. And it's like, you can tell a difference. If someone's just rapping along to a song, and they're just doing the lyrics as they go, that's one thing. If I make eye contact with you specifically on that word, be like, hey, I'm saying it, that's when you can get punched in the face. But if you just sing along to the song...
What's a Cardi B? I'm sorry. I've seen a picture of her. She seems pretty.
Yeah, I don't know who... I know I've heard the name. I don't know what... She's a pop...
Yeah, she's a stripper. Then she was on... was she on the Flavor Flav dating show? She was on one of those.
Shows.
Love and Hip Hop. No, she wasn't on Flavor Flav. She was on Love and Hip Hop.
You watch
and now she's rapping herself.
I want you to know that.
And you are one cultured individual.
I am. I try to be.
Oh,
so
don't do that.
She had her first big song last year, which was Kodak Yellow. That's the one that's like, you can fuck with me if you wanna do. She says wanna do that way. It's really funny. I control Kevin with it. But yeah, so that's what a Cardi B is. She'll be doing halftime at the Super Bowl next year. Did you enjoy halftime of the Super Bowl this year with JT?
Well, not the whole Prince thing, because he had it in his last will and testament about not wanting to have his art be some sort of hologram. He doesn't want to. If he's dead, his music shouldn't be. Essentially, it's. I was talking to my brother about it. It's this whole white supremacy thing. Black man who doesn't have artistic control anymore because he's dead, entertaining millions of white people. He didn't want anything like that to happen, and the whole Prince, his family was totally against it, but because it's Justin Timberlake and it's going to make money and Minnesota, blah blah blah.
That's the thing that we don't know, though, is who pushed it. Was it Timberlake's people? Was it the NFL? Was it the city of Minneapolis? So we don't know who really forced that. And
whoever it was, they weren't paying attention to the wishes of Prince.
And I'm not. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm about to break down. Like we break down in football. Is it a catch? Is it not a catch? I'm like, I don't know. Is that a hologram? Like when I think hologram, I think of the hologram Tupac.
No, that's what they were. So that's what they were originally
and that's
going
not what they did.
They were going to originally do the Tupac hologram.
Oh god, that was bad.
Then they did the projection instead, which they scrapped right beforehand. People need to understand. Before, they weren't respecting his wishes, but they also have to understand what capitalism is, which is money commodifies everything, even the dead, which is fucked up because Prince clearly wouldn't have wanted to do that.
It wouldn't have happened if the Super Bowl wasn't in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but they thought, oh well, this is the best way to get the attention of people, and I get what their thought process is, but I think we can draw the line at reanimating virtually or otherwise dead folks for the sake of doing so.
I didn't feel like with the tarp that they were doing that though.
No, with the tarp they were fine. Yeah. See this the hologram. Everyone has a reason to do something. The tarp is not bad. It's a projection screen. Here's the thing: they were just going through video clips and stuff like that. But the other thing is, even if they had not done it at all, someone would have complained.
Oh, because then it would have been like, hey, how could you have a Super Bowl in Minnesota and not do anything Prince at halftime?
Your life gets so much easier, and I think I've said this to you 100 times. Life gets so much easier when you realize no matter what you do, someone's going to complain. No matter what you do.
That's true.
No matter what you do, you can do everything right. Once you get to that point where you're under that microscope, where people notice the things you're doing, they're going to complain 100%.
And when you say life gets easier, it's because that there's a freedom in knowing. Well, it doesn't matter. I can choose to go down the road of, everyone, they're not going to, and just waste my energy in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can just recognize, all right, someone's not going to be happy with this. They're going to be upset. For me, it doesn't matter because that's always going to be there.
Exactly.
If it's always going to be there, so I'm going to always waste my energy.
Why? Like you're doing a special. I can tell you with 100% accuracy, there are more people who are sitting there complaining about why is Tim Lowe doing a special? What material does he have?
Yeah.
And if you spend your time giving a fuck about what they say, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. And it's so much easier because now those voices don't matter. And that makes life so much easier for you when you don't, oh, God, okay, well, why is he doing it? Well, why does that matter? But no matter what you do, you can't, no one is always universally liked or universally cared for in what they do. And you get that, you're good.
I thought it was odd that people were bringing up the feud that Timberlake and Prince had. And I say that only because Prince died in 2016. And the highlight of that feud was in the song Give It To Me with Timberland, Nelly Furtado, and Justin Timberlake. And it was basically at the part where Timberlake says, if sexy never left, then why is everybody on my shit? Don't hate on me because you didn't come up with it. Basically what happened was when Justin Timberlake put out Sexy Back, Prince, being Prince, snickered at it and was like...
Sexy never left.
Right. So don't even know if that's a legit feud. They might have been just fucking with each other. And B, even if it was a legit feud, that happened in 2006. Prince died in 2016. There's a 10-year gap that we have no idea what happened in the middle of it. So I don't know why people are necessarily bringing that up. But then again, people are bringing up Janet Jackson and how Timberlake's completely at fault for that. And I'm thinking, she was wearing a tassel. Clearly, she knew something was going to be happening. Otherwise, why wear the tassel that makes your titty look like a silver sun?
You know, some people are saying, why didn't Justin apologize to her? I'm like, do they think that didn't happen? Like, they didn't know what was going on? that's my main thing. Is like people think that wouldn't have been planned on both ends. That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't seem feasible. You know what I mean?
I would be interested to think or to find out why NSYNC wasn't involved. I assume they would like to have done it, would have liked to have the work. I assume the NFL would have been down with it. I'm not saying that I'm blaming Timberlake. I'm just going in the process of elimination on who could have possibly said no to this. But even that doesn't make sense because they've had NSYNC reunions before. So maybe it just wasn't able to work out. I don't know. But Timberlake did the whole thing by himself. I thought it was awesome. I thought the Prince tribute was awesome, and I'm a Prince fan. And I know that Prince may not have wanted the hologram thing to happen, but that didn't happen. And also, Prince was very weird about his stuff. Like, when he was alive, anything on YouTube involving him came down within hours, every single time.
And also, the reason why I think they didn't do the NSYNC thing is how many times they're going to keep parading these out-of-shape guys out there. They've done it so many times, at least twice a year on these award shows.
Hey, Lance Bass is in shape.
Lance Bass does not count.
Why?
Not because he's still active. Not because he's gay or anything. He's just active.
I was saying he's in shape because he's gay.
Oh. Hold on a second.
Your dog is a nuisance.
He's always been a nuisance. He likes attention. He's going to sit here. He just ate a bunch of peanut butter.
Believe it or not, to those who were listening to last week's podcast, he was here the entire time.
Sleeping.
But he was sleeping on the couch.
He's trying to impress Tim, and pretty soon he's going to bark.
He likes to show how cute he is. It's okay, Charlie. We're going to be wrapping this up.
Or barf.
Bark.
We're going to be wrapping this up soon.
Yeah, right, Charlie?
Vegas came out with the favorites for next year's Super Bowl. The Patriots, even after losing, are the favorite to win. And that was with what we thought losing both of their coordinators, with Matt Patricia going to be the head coach of the Detroit Lions and Josh McDaniels going to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Except Josh McDaniels went ahead and reneged on the deal and is staying in New England. Now, why would Josh McDaniels give up a head coaching job with Andrew Luck to stay in New England?
Well, one, Andrew Luck's arm is far worse than what people understand.
Even if it is, they have a top pick.
So he's probably just going to... I think... Here's what I think. The whole Malcolm Butler thing, in my honest opinion, might have spent the end of Bill. I don't know what Bill was actually thinking in not starting him, and I think Bill's almost done. I think he's kind of had it.
The defensive coordinator, or I don't know which coordinator is the guy. I think it's the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. Big beard.
Yes, that's Matt Patricia. The one that looks like he'd be related to the two of us.
Oh yeah. He's an uncle. He went where?
He is now the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Yeah, that was agreed upon before the season ended, and it was agreed upon that McDaniels was going to be going to Indianapolis. And as of like an hour before we recorded this, he was like, nope, staying in New England.
Huh.
So we might find out here in the near future, and it actually might be news that by the time this gets put out tomorrow morning, that he is going to be a head coach in waiting at New England. But that's going to be a New England team without Tom Brady. And I'm not saying now, but I'm assuming Belichick is going to ride this out as long as Tom's riding it out. So let's say Belichick coaches the team for 2-3 more years. Brady's playing for 2-3 more years. Then Josh McDaniels becomes officially the head coach in New England.
Mm-hmm. No
Tom Brady. No Jimmy Garoppolo. And because they had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick the entire time, they're going to have a low pick. So they're not going to be able to draft a quarterback. And Kevin brought it up, and now we can see it on the TV here. Expatriate implies Malcolm Butler may have been disciplined over weed. That was what I heard as well.
Oh, this is the one he got benched?
This is the one that got benched. He was at a Rick Ross show and was late for curfew and had weed on him. Now, I get it. Team rules are team rules, especially in New England.
Fuck that.
And I don't want to sound like I'm saying excuse it and let him do whatever he wants. However, I'm saying excuse it. Let him do whatever he wants. It's the goddamn Super Bowl.
Because he only played special teams, right?
He only plays special teams, and he's their number one corner. And I don't know if you noticed or not, Tim.
There was a lot of passing.
Nick Foles was shredding them. He threw for 370. So, hey, you want to bench him for a quarter, bench him for a half. If you want to cut him at the end of the season or trade him, do that. I don't believe in punishing all 53 players, dare I say it, throwing the Super Bowl just to send a message to one player. This isn't fucking Little League. Actually, speaking of Little League, I remember one time when I was playing hockey. Yes, we played hockey in Florida. Ice hockey at that.
Oh, God.
Best player on our team, Tyler Pierce. You ever seen the movie Goon?
Yeah.
Either of you? All right. So you know the little guy that Sean William Scott has to protect?
Yeah.
He can do all the spin-a-roonies and shit and score all the time. This is how Tyler Pierce played. He was that good, like, in real life. Tyler Pierce is also a dumbass. And he might be listening to this, and he knows that, so it's okay. So, and I mean dumbass as in he would get into a lot of shit. In school, out of school, whatever. His nickname was Penis, all right? So this is the type of kid we're talking about.
Whoa. Wait, he gave himself that nickname?
No, we did.
Do I want to know why you gave him that nickname?
Because
he's a penis.
Oh, he's a penis.
Yeah. But not like a dick, like not in a mean way. Just like, yeah, he's silly. He gets into shit. Like, he would fit in very well with the Broken Lizard people.
Okay, that's
so,
good. Yeah,
anywho, so he got in trouble one day, and our coach Ron was suspending him for the game. And first period goes by, and we're getting our ass kicked. And I was actually the one that pulled Coach aside. I said, Coach Ron, I get what Tyler did, but you're kind of punishing all of us right now. We shouldn't have to lose because of this. And lo and behold, Tyler got put back in the game, and we won.
Hey, look at that.
Well,
so
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And that was Little League. That was rec league hockey. We were in high school, but it wasn't high school. We played high school too, but this was in our rec league. This was the fucking Super Bowl.
It just doesn't. I want to say I refuse to believe a guy who's won 5 Super Bowls would. I can't. I mean, yes, I actually said this to someone today, which is from the perspective of it could be cocky, it could be stupid, but there's a thin line between being cocky and being stupid, because you could be cocky because you're too stupid to realize you're fucked. So in that sense, I want to believe that Bill Belichick didn't do that for the sake of disciplining someone. But at the same time, if he did, that's egregious on 100 different levels. Why would you not allow your team to have a bet? Suspend him at the beginning of the next game. Tell him not to be in preseason. Anything else, but not the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What are you proving?
I was going to say, I really wanted you to touch on this because I know you as an athlete, and I know how athletes are. They have the mindset of, as long as I'm in the game, we're okay. But have you ever been in a position where one of your better players on your team is on the bench for whatever reason, and you're not looking at the coach like, motherfucker, if you don't get this dude back in the game, you're gonna get fired.
I was actually that guy. I got double technical. I was in Germany in Ulm, or I can't remember what team I was on. I got double technical, which automatically suspended me for the next game.
Mm-hmm.
And we were getting our asses kicked by like maybe 30 or 40 points. And we caught it cutting 15, and then at that point you have to sit there and go, okay, you're going to let me back in this game. And he ends up letting me back in the game. In the third quarter, we ended up losing by 5, but he wishes that he hadn't had to do that. And it was for a legit reason. I got to a fight, but we were getting our asses kicked. What do? You know, he probably would have gotten fired if I didn't go back in that game. We didn't cut it, because getting beat by 60 is probably a good way to get fired very, very fast.
Now, granted, Belichick has the ultimate job security. He's not going to get fired for something like that. And of course, people are going to say, well, we don't know if Malcolm Butler playing would have won them the game or not. No, we don't. But we do know that Rowe got torched all night.
How many yards did what's his name? Foles throw for? 370?
370. And not a whole lot of them were in Stephon Gilmore's
direction. No, they actually did. They made the switch and put Gilmore on what's his name?
Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
After Alshon Jeffrey scored a touchdown.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's a bad look. I don't know if that it's not 100% of the reason, but it's more than 50%.
Missed curfew and weed. I don't care if Malcolm Butler went raw and Giselle. He gets to play.
I mean, Ray Lewis stabbed someone after a goddamn Super Bowl. I mean, you've got people who've done way worse. If it's because of weed, let's be real, Bill. He didn't kill anyone. He didn't drive or anything. He didn't do a Dante Stallworth and kill some random guy. He might have smoked a little pot. You gotta take him out of the Super Bowl. What does that prove?
Trade him to Cleveland in the offseason. You can always trade him to Cleveland.
Just tell him to kill himself at that point. That's fucked up. Don't go to Cleveland.
But at least that's punishing just him and not the rest of the roster.
Not the whole team and the possibility of losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Right. Like, he lost the Super Bowl, and now these questions are going to be looming for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, a long time. Because what happens if Malcolm Butler's in the game? What happens if there's no 370 yards passing from Nick Foles?
Especially when Brady throws for 500.
That's the other thing. That's the thing that makes this worse. Tom Brady literally did everything he could. He dropped one pass, but he threw for almost 500 yards.
505. And that is the new Super Bowl record that was Tom Brady's record that he has now broken.
So he threw for 505.
505.
So you're
10 yards an attempt. Attempt. That includes incompletion.
Okay.
Every time he throws the ball, 10 yards.
All right. At this point, if I'm Robert Kraft, I'm having maybe the longest serious conversation I could ever have with Bill Belichick. I'm sitting there going, Tom Brady literally at 40. Maybe I'm not saying it'll be his last time in there, but maybe one of the few times he's got left, and you might have not given him his best chance over someone's possibly smoking a plant. That just seems irresponsible.
And breaking curfew.
That just seems irresponsible. It seems like you're not thinking of anything but whatever your rules are. And I understand rules are there. I get it. But you don't throw it away for the 52 men on that goddamn roster. That's irresponsible shit.
Charlie agrees. I mean, I get it. It's New England, the Patriot way. They have rules. The reason why they have these rules, they enforce these rules, is the reason why they're so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't work this time. Clearly did not work this time. And now the Eagles are Super Bowl champs, which is good for Tim because he's an Eagles fan. And now the Eagles, but they're saying they don't have a quarterback controversy. This is
that's enough. Oof.
It's not. They're not having one. Nick Foles has already said he knows that Carson is the guy, and his words was that Carson was a baller, and when he comes back, it's his team. And on top of that, Nick Foles said he does not want to go anywhere because now people are obviously thinking, "Oh, hey, Philly has a nice trade piece here. They could go in the draft and flip Nick Foles for something." First team that comes to my head is Buffalo. They need a quarterback. They have 2 first-round picks. They could give one of those to Philly for Nick Foles, especially with Foles only being on a $7 million contract. That's very cheap for an NFL quarterback, even though $7 million is a big price tag. It's cheaper than an Air Force One fridge, which is usually the price of an NFL starting quarterback.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the going rate for the elite quarterbacks. So same price as an Air Force One fridge, $25 million. Nick Foles is playing for $7 million next year. And Carson's on his rookie contract because he's only in his second year, will be his third year next year. So Philly it's either $14.5 or $15.5 million tied up in both of those quarterbacks.
And
so it behooves them to keep Nick Foles around because Carson is on an ACL injury. If you have Nick, you don't have to rush Carson back. They're saying that he's going to be good for training camp. At the start of training camp, he'll be good to go. But just in case he isn't,
you have a franchise quarterback, and if he's not, your backup is the Super Bowl MVP. They're golden.
I wouldn't get rid of him. And they're saying, I heard a lot of stuff I couldn't remember if I heard it on Tiki and Tierney or if I heard it on Jim Rome, but they were comparing this Eagles team to the last Eagles team that played the Pats in the Super Bowl when they had T.O. and they had McNabb throwing up on the field. And they said that everybody on that team hated everybody. Like, not just McNabb and T.O. Like, all 53 guys hated each other. And they said that this team is the complete opposite, that they all love each other. And I actually noticed, and they put it up on Instagram, one of the first few plays of the game on a pass to Nelson Aguilar, he and Zach Ertz cross routes, and they high-five each other as they're crossing each other on the field. It was like the second or third play of the Super Bowl.
As the play's happening?
As the play's happening. Ertz is running this way, Aguilar's running this way, and they just high-five as they pass each other. Then he catches the ball and goes upfield. but the quarterbacks are really close to each other, and it apparently comes down to faith. Carson is a big man of faith. For those fans of Tim Tebow that think he's being persecuted for being a Christian, there are other Christians in the NFL. Carson Wentz is apparently one of them. And Nick Foles wants to be a pastor when he retires. So they got that connection going on.
That's right. He did thank God at the end of the celebration.
And every athlete does that. But they're very supportive of each other. They have that connection in faith. It's a weird situation, I say, just because everybody would assume backup quarterback wins Super Bowl MVP. He wants to go play somewhere and be the man and be the starter. Understandable. But it's only 1 year left on that deal next year, and then he'll only be 30. He just turned 29 end of January.
This is Foles or Carson?
This is Foles. Carson's in Philadelphia for the next 10, 15 years. But Foles will only be 30 when that contract's up. That Super Bowl will only have been a year and a half ago by that time. Quarterbacks are playing in their mid-late 30s now, so you can give them a 5-year contract, and it doesn't really hurt you to do so. Foles is going to get an offer. So I think he's in good hands, whether he stays in Philly, leaves Philly. It's not really his choice. Philly would have to trade him. And with him not demanding to be traded, I'm not going to trade him after he just won Super Bowl MVP. I have my starting quarterback coming off of an ACL. I don't have to. I'm in a weird situation where I don't have to rush him back because every team feels like we got to get this guy back on the field as soon as we can.
Yeah.
That really works out well. I mean, you got Gronk rushed to the field after the concussion, and then he plays the Super Bowl. And now he's saying, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I might retire. Now, that could be him being grumpy and bitter because they just lost the Super Bowl. Or it could be that he's had 11 or 12 surgeries in already. He wants to retire. So that's what's going on there. But Philly's... It's amazing that I didn't think they were going to win the Super Bowl because now the Super Bowl's over and you see how the future of the franchise is going. Philly's just trending upward and onward, and New England is stalled and neutral at best.
But if that's neutral,
it's a great fucking neutral. But it's neutral for them.
Yeah.
They did this with their defensive coordinator. Now people are saying, well, after watching that defense, how much does that hurt? Well, Matt Patricia got that head coaching job for a reason. It would help if he had a number one corner in the game. But you have that rift between the two. Malcolm Butler will not be with the team next year. Absolutely won't be. They'll get rid of him. If Gronk does not come back,
I think Gronk's going to come back. It's like when Big Ben was talking about retiring last year. He did it the year before last. Gronk's going to play.
He's only in his late 20s. He's been around since he's in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
He's like 28, something like that.
And the shelf life on a good tight end is 35. Yeah. So unless you're,
but he's already had like 11 or 12 surgeries.
Yeah, he is banged up.
He's banged up, but I don't think he'll.
It's always different stuff too. He had the knee, he had the elbow, he has the head, he had the shoulder.
That's all normal stuff. I mean, honestly, especially for a guy like Gronk. Honestly,
he's a big physical guy. He takes a lot of hits.
That's a part of life. He's not going anywhere.
Well, you're a guy that's played in championships, lost some championships. Did you have the "fuck this, I'm out" thought after the game and then change your mind later?
The thing is, I never think of quitting, but I understand the exhaustion after you put, whether you play 20, 40, 60 games, 80 games, whatever. You play those games and then it's over. You got to the first round, you lost again. Or you got the second round, you lost the championship, and it's a lot. It's mentally a lot to now have to convince yourself to do this all over again. You need that month to unwind. That's why I never like it when people come after. You should never talk to a guy after a major loss because he'll say things he does not mean, especially like in UFC and stuff like that.
They've changed that. Like Rogan implemented that himself.
Yeah, you should never
wasn't going to talk to people not necessarily after they get knocked out.
Yeah, you should
not doing it.
You should not talk to a guy like, especially Gronk. Don't talk to a guy like that after a game. He's gonna say things he don't mean. He's gonna go home. He's gonna be upset. I get you're the beater. That's what you gotta do. But don't ask him questions like that. He'll say something he doesn't mean. Ask him Big Ben how he feels. I don't feel it. You asked me after I lost one of the championships or one game to get into the playoffs. You asked me how you feeling. I said I feel like I don't want to play anymore. I never mean it, but at that point, the last thing I want in my mind is to play basketball. Like, I want to get out of that locker room as fast as I can.
It's comparable to like when you bomb a set real bad, and you're like, why the fuck am I doing stand-up?
I imagine every comedian probably has that at least once a week.
You wake up that next day and you're fine.
Yeah.
I've noticed the days that I wake up and I haven't done a set yet. I'm just waking up in the morning, starting my day, and I'm like, why am I doing this grind? You know what I mean? I can go get a regular job, actually have money in my pocket, and everything would be cool. Those days, I always fucking crush that night. I've noticed that. It's almost like subconsciously I'm proving to myself, like, no, you're doing this for a reason. It's like, in that sense, I do get where Gronk's coming from. I think he comes back. But if he doesn't, cover's going to be bare in New England a little bit. And especially, I was more leading to, Tim and I were talking about it. You were walking around with Charlie, I think. If Josh McDaniels is going to be the head coach in waiting in New England, I assume Bill's going to be there as long as Tom's there. So that means when Bill retires, that means Tom's retired.
I'm assuming Tom's gone at that point.
Tom's retired. Jimmy's in San Francisco. And you are the Patriots, so you're picking 28, 29, 32.
No matter what.
You're not getting a top flight quarterback. You're at the bottom out and suck for a year before you can get a quarterback.
But remember,
and is Boston going to burn down if Josh McDaniels goes 4-12 his first season?
You got to think of it. I mean, the Patriots, the Packers, and the Steelers kind of have that next man up mentality. Mm-hmm. The interchangeable parts. They're prepared for this. It seems the cover technically, if you look on paper, is bare for the Patriots simply because they've got a bunch of guys that put them on any other team. They're not going to be doing what they do. So I'm saying I don't think the cupboard's bare. I think they're just not. I think they're still a very good team. I just don't know if they're a Super Bowl team. But then again, like you said, Gronk leaves. It's not they're just the next man up. They're going to turn someone into that. Look at Hogan. Look at Amendola. Look at Woodhead at one point when he was there.
Woodhead.
They just turn them. They turn them out because it's a system. The system makes the parts. The parts make the machine. The machine is what goes.
The next man up in the moment is Brian Hoyer. I've had to make retractions on this show all throughout that I was wrong about Nick Foles. I'm not wrong about Brian Hoyer.
I mean,
we've seen that movie enough times.
You gotta look at it from the perspective of a guy of a team that's clearly probably looking to the future, whether Tom Brady likes it or not. Just because they got rid of Jimmy, they're clearly looking to the future. I don't think we're going to see that. Remember Tom Brady was drafted where? I mean, there's no way they walk out of this draft without a quarterback.
Get a Lamar Jackson pick. He'll play wide receiver for Tom and then become the quarterback after he retires.
I'm saying like this: if they get out of this draft without a quarterback, honestly, then I'll be like, okay, what the hell's going on? But they're going to get somebody. They're prepared for the future. I don't think it'll be the same thing with Josh McDaniels, for sure, if that is in fact the case. But
what would you think of Lamar Jackson in New England?
I don't see
slashing it up.
I don't see it. I don't see it simply because he doesn't fit any of that.
Or can you only slash in Pittsburgh? Is Lamar going to end up in Pittsburgh?
Don't ever mention slash to me again. I hate Cordell. I hate Cordell with passion.
I'm not just talking about Cordell though. Hines was a college quarterback. Well, yes, Antoine Randall was a college quarterback. Those guys
stayed receivers at one point.
I'm saying, maybe Lamar stays a receiver. I'm just saying Pittsburgh tends to grab these guys.
It's been a while. And I don't see because we have Landry Jones. I would love to see anyone that isn't Landry Jones, but I don't see. Lamar doesn't fit in any of the systems I've mentioned at all.
Julian Edelman, former college quarterback. Yeah. So maybe.
But I don't see. Lamar has no place in Pittsburgh, honestly, and I don't think he has a place with the Patriots unless he's just a receiver. He won't be. If he's a quarterback, it won't be for these teams. If he's trying to come in as a quarterback, it won't be for these teams. I'd be really surprised.
Tell you what, you had ran that play that they ran in the Super Bowl. I bet you Lamar catches it.
Well, yeah, probably.
I bet you he's off to the fucking races afterwards.
I want to see Brady's catch rating in this next year's Madden. They're gonna troll. They're gonna troll the fuck out of him. They're gonna try
make it a 2.
Make it a 2 negative.
You gotta look at what it was in this year's Madden too to see just if they actually did purposely make it. Because it's gonna be something ridiculously low anyway. Because
no matter what,
it's probably something like 30.
Because it's the focus
on Madden. But if they turn around and make it like a 12 next year after it being a 30 this year, that would be an awesome troll job. But hey, Charlie, our producer, is telling us we're in an hour and 45 minutes. Nice. We gotta wrap this up. February 25th.
Correct.
Crossroads.
In Garwood,
New Jersey. Tim Lowe, free advice. Go to xxroads.com, 20roads.com. $12 online, $15 at the door. There's a bunch of other comics on that too. Tim, thanks for being here.
Yeah, this was fun, man.
What's your Twitter? Your Instagram? Do you have it?
Yeah, Twitter is Timothy M as in Michael, B as in Barry Lowe. Timothy MB Lowe. And
you got the double middle name going on.
Yeah. It's Michael, and then my mother put her maiden name in all of her kids' names.
Are you a hyphen like Gordon?
No.
Okay.
Just four
But he
separate
should
names.
be. But he should.
And Instagram is, I think, just Timothy Lowe.
Yep.
Timothy Lowe on the Instagram. Kevin is on those as codename_Leon.
Thank you very much.
I am on those at Sarver Trey. Let's get the fuck out of here.